Hello everyone, welcome back to Relative Security. Today we are going to initiate a course for the SOC analysts. Now this course is going to talk about all the different aspects that involve the SOC analyst, because usually when you get a career advice to get into cybersecurity or become a SOC analyst, the advice we usually get is to start with the basic certifications or to get into a basic role within an organization. Both advices will work for somebody and it may not work for some people. The approach that we are going to take in this course is that we are not going to address any cyber certification or any other approach. We are going to take a holistic approach towards the security overall, because in this video we're going to only talk about that why we need a security team. What is exactly a security? What is the need of a SOC analyst within the organization? Because once you understand this basic thing, that why there is a need of a SOC analyst within any organization, what is the purpose of that role? Because in any company, if they are going to hire anybody, there must be a role or a job description for that person. And there is a need of that specific role that they need to fill. And that's where you come in. And if you are going to fill that role, you need to understand the overall picture of that company, that what exactly you are going to contribute towards the success of their whatever objective that they want to achieve. So we'll start with the very basic one, and we'll talk about the first thing that we're going to talk about is the survival. We all have heard about the survival of the fittest philosophy. It's a situation in which only the strongest people or things continue to live or be successful, while others either die or they fail. Now, for example, let's talk about the tribes. If there is a tribe, we're not talking about we're talking about the time era when there was no advancement that humans have achieved so far. There was no electricity, let's say. The tribe is just living in a jungle. What is the thing that is the core reason of existence, or the core thing that the tribe is going to focus on? With no materialistic things around, I would say the basic thing that the tribe is going to focus on is their own survival. How are they going to survive the days in jungle without the basic things that they need for living? Their reason of existence would be, or their survival dependence would be, on the food, on the protection of their tribesmen and women and children from the animals within the jungle. So this is the thing that they have to eat. On one end, they have to ensure that they have their supply of basic necessities. Secondly, they are safe from the animals within the jungle. Now, when we talk about in a modern era, the survival of a company or an organization, the same thing exists here. On one end, they have to ensure that the reason of existence or the survival dependence, what is it on? If it's a product company, the reason of existence is the product that they are selling or the product they are developing. If it's a service company, the service that they are providing, that is the main thing that they have to focus on. The second aspect is the security of that particular product, the security of the services, the security of their clients. Now, this security at this point, without getting into any details, this covers, when we talk about security at this stage, it covers every aspect of security. If it's a product, They don't want their product to be released to, let's say, their competitors. They don't want this product features to be public before they can uh, share it with their clients, or whenever the company decides they want to share. They don't want any information to be shared before that timeline. Now, these are the things that they want to have secured. How are they going to secure it? This is the question. And why do they need a security? Now, the main objective of any company would be the main core reason of their existence. Could it be their product? It could be their service that was discussed before. It could be some other organization. It could be a government agency. Government agency is like interacting with the people, or they're providing services to the people. They're not for profit. It could be any other organization. The role of a security team would be to protect the people and their lives. Just as we discussed in the case of the tribesmen, they had to protect their people, women and children. The companies have to protect their people from any harm in the current circumstances. They have to protect their objectives, resources, and operations. Now, these objectives, resources, and operations will cover everything that we will discuss down the lane when we will get more into the details of this course. But for now, what we need to um, settle the debate on is the companies exist for a reason. Either they exist for profit, where they are selling their products and services, and then to protect that product or a service, they need the security team to protect the people and objectives of the organization by protecting the necessary resources and operations. So let's talk about what is an organization or what is a company. Now, organization, when you're joining an organization, it is just not your security team, because organization or a company will comprise of different teams. It would be sales team, marketing team, the product or services, whatever they are selling. Then there is a technical team that is actually executing or making or developing that product or a service. And then there comes a security team that is going to coordinate with all the necessary stakeholders, understand their needs, and then devise a plan that how can they protect the product, service, and overall goal of the organization to ensure that the risk level is to an acceptable level. Whatever the company has decided according to their risk appetite, the security team is going to devise a plan that how can they protect the organization to achieve its own core reason of existence and their core objectives. Every team has their own role. For example, the sales team is going to get the clients. Marketing team is going to ensure that the right message is reaching to the product and to the product users or the new clients or the audience. The product and the service itself is going to add value to whoever is going to buy that product or a service. Technical team is going to ensure that whatever sales team or the marketing team is promising the client through their product, the product is capable of providing that value. And the security team will ensure that this whole thing happens without the organization getting breached or the risk to the organization and its operations going beyond the acceptable level. Now, to understand it further, let's take an example of a castle. For example, you are a knight and you are given a castle to protect it. The first thing that you need to do is that you need to realize is that what are we protecting? I mean, the castle is there. You have to protect the whole castle. But are there any crown jewels that need special attention? For example, it could be the treasure within the castle. It could be some other secret hideouts or the messages from the king or whoever within the castle that need protection. It could be some person, key persons like prince or anybody else that needs protection. Once you have decided that, okay, this is some particular XYZ thing that needs protection, then who are we protecting it from? So the enemy from whom we are protecting, does it lie inside the castle walls or does it lie outside? We need to know more about the XYZ enemy, that what are its traits, how can it harm us, what can we do to protect it. That's our third point, that how do we do it? How do we protect whatever we are protecting from the one we are protecting it from? What are the things that need to be done to ensure that the risk of this castle getting compromised or whatever we are protecting getting unprotected or getting stolen needs to be taken care of? Now, what needs to be done would be that we have some lookout towers where we can see that the enemy, if is coming from the outside, the lookout towers are high enough to see the enemy from far, far, far away. This, in the same case, the people at the lookout tower should be able to look inside the castle. That whatever is happening inside, they should have a monitoring eye inside also. Then you need army. Definitely you need an army or a personal, whoever are executing all these tasks which we are discussing. Then you have a war room. If in case something happens, somebody breaches the walls of a castle, we need to have a war room, or maybe you need to go on counteroffensive or the offensive approach. You need to have a war room to discuss the strategies to attack somebody or strategies to counter the other enemy strategies. Maybe you need to have a fence around the castle or the moat or the ditch where you put some for water or fire, whatever the strategy you define, that okay, this is something that can help us protect the castle from the enemy. And then you need to have, now these are the things that you are going to do inside the castle or somewhere in the vicinity, near vicinity of the castle itself. Then you need to have some detection mechanisms. The castle is quite big, but you need to have some detection mechanisms if any wall of the castle is breached or anybody inside the castle gets compromised or starts communication with the enemy. You need to have those mechanisms in place to ensure the timeful detection happens and you get to decide that who is doing what. Then you need to have spies, you need to calculate the risks, that given all these things that we have put, all the controls that we have done around the castle, does the risk of getting compromised is under the acceptable level? Is it reduced or nothing is happening? Are we secure or are we secure enough to protect the castle? So these are the questions that you have to answer. The next thing that we are going to do is, because this is something, this example that we talk is something that anybody can relate to. Even if you do not have any technical background, if you do not have any IT related background, you can still understand the concept behind protecting anything. I mean, for this one, we took the example of a castle. These are the basic things that you need to know, that what exactly are you protecting and who are you protecting it from? And what are you going to do to ensure that the risk of getting compromised is not very high? And then you have these strategies like war room and counter strategies and detection mechanisms. Let's map this particular example with your organization. Now we have over here the same list of things that we saw in the last slide. The first thing is, what are we protecting? In the case of castle, it could be the castle itself, it could be a person inside, it could be the treasure. The same goes with your company. When you're joining a company, you need to have a very clear understanding that what exactly are you protecting? Is it the intellectual property of your organization? Is it the network inside your company that you're protecting? Or there are any other requirements from the higher management that needs to be protected? Then who are you protecting it from? In this scenario, without getting into the details, what you need to understand is at a high level that in which sector your organization lies. Is it a banking sector? Is it a health sector? Or is it education sector? Then to answer this question that who are you protecting it from, we can study more about the different attack groups who are attacking particularly any specific sector. For example, the banking sector. We need to know that what are the different threat actors who are involved in attacking this particular banking sector. So those are the potential attackers that you are trying to protect it from. Then comes the question that how would you do it, or what needs to be done, and how your role as a SOC analyst is going to be instrumental in protecting your organization. So when we talk about the lookout tower, where we said that the people on the lookout tower are going to make sure that they see the enemy outside and they see the enemy inside. When it comes to organization, we can map those people on the lookout tower with the detection team. That is actually ensuring that anything within the organization, any activity is being monitored and it is being detected through various tools, whatever you will be using. The army is like a security analyst, that is you, yourself, and your peers within the organization. The war room, the counter strategies, they all get mapped to the security operations, counter threat intelligence, the fence, the moat. It's all the infrastructure that you have within your company, the IT infrastructure. It could be parameter firewalls, it could be IDS, IPS, anything that you have within your organization that comes under this. I mean, these are just sample points that we have mentioned here, but anything under the infrastructure comes under this. Then you have detection mechanism, for which you have the detection engineers that are going to write those strategies or the use cases that need to be addressed and that need to be detected, that need to be alerted whenever that particular use case meets the logic or meets the criteria, it should be alerted. Then when it comes to spies, definitely you have a department of the entire department within your organization, which is called threat intelligence. That is going to make sure that you get the right information and they gather and collect the right information about the particular threats according to the current threat landscape, and they provide it to you and other relevant stakeholders for creating detection strategies, for ensuring that you are ready and your detection team knows that what exactly are they going to monitor. And then you have a risk team. And then at the end, after all this, the question from the CEO or any other higher management would be, then are we secure? Whatever we are doing, are they going to give us the desired results? Now, in this whole scenario, when we are mapping the castle with the organization, you do realize that there are different stakeholders involved. There's a detection team, then there are security analysts, counter threat intelligence, detection engineers, then there's a risk team. And of course, after all these measures that we put in place, What if the castle or your organization gets compromised? Definitely, you need to have an army or you need to have security analysts who are able to give a response to that intrusion. And that is where your incident response team comes in. So after all this discussion, what we can gather is that there is an SOC team, that is the event monitoring team, that is doing the detections. Then you have a counter cyber threat intelligence team that is actually gathering the intelligence from for different threat actors, and that is providing or feeding the IR or your team, the SOC team. Then you have vulnerability scanning team, then you have penetration testing team, then you have the risk team and your IR team. Now, these all different teams have their own roles, but they all combine together to protect your organization. Now, the risk team is going to calculate the risk, overall risk. It could be the business risk, it could be the IT risk, and it will ensure that every stakeholder knows about it, that this is our acceptable risk, and this is where we are standing at this point, XYZ. The vulnerability team is going to ensure that you and the relevant stakeholders are aware of all the vulnerabilities, and they ensure that the relevant patches are in place for or any other mitigation controls are in place to ensure that the vulnerabilities are not exploited by the adversaries. The penetration testing team works closely with the vulnerability scanning team. They ensure that whatever patching controls have been or the mitigation controls are in place, they get tested and they are not breached easily. The SOC team is there to ensure that all the events that are happening and the entire infrastructure is being monitored. Any anomalies or any suspicious behavior gets alerted and relevant stakeholders are informed for the response. Where the IR teams comes in, if there is a breach or any other compromise happening, the IR team is going to be involved to ensure that the incident, whatever is happening, is contained well in time and it doesn't spread. And CTI we have already discussed. So this is just a basic introduction about what your role as a SOC analyst would be in any organization and why you are becoming a part of some organization. Plus, what is an organization? What is the main objective of that organization? You as a SOC analyst need to understand this, that your input into the organization is going to add value to protect the main core reason of existence of any company. You are not the main team that is going to run the company. The company could be selling a different product. It could not be, it could be a marketing product, it could be a sales product, educational product. But the job of a security team is to protect the core objectives, the resources, and the operations of that organization to ensure that the company can achieve its objectives. Could it be selling product, could it be selling services, or any other product? But your security role is the sportive role to achieve those objectives in a very secure manner. I hope that clarifies some of the things. And in the next session, we are going to dig deeper into the process around it and then definitely into the technical aspects of the same training. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to share and like and subscribe our channel for the next upcoming videos. Thank you so much.